Hello and welcome to the third and final, hopefully, part of Undead Commentary for the Surge 2. Still trying to press through to the seaside court, getting to that giant octopus. And yeah, we've got security gates and like high-level troops and the other paths that we found. This is the main way we've got to explore at the moment. We've been struggling a little bit with these guys between our Molotov man, which, at least now that we know that we can consistently get backstabs, yeah, it's a fair bit easier than previously. But, yeah, so this route is currently the main one for us to go down. So, something that I noticed, or I think, had I noticed at this point? No, I don't think I had. This was just me being, yeah, just me trying to fight off the enemy and failing. It's like going, oh, I'll kill them and then I'll go and recover it, and then getting absolutely pummeled and going, never mind, I'll recover it and then kill. As you do. Still massively off on the timing for that attack. I tried multiple times, and I think I pulled it off once. There we go. And I got a leg for my efforts. So yeah, go to deal with the ambush. Turns out, there's a few more enemies around this side than I initially expected. So I opted to take the brave route of running away and upgrading my gear. Or more specifically, I now had the components to craft a full set of armor. So, one set of vulture gear coming right up. However, we are now reaching the point where power is an issue, as we have a set of armor. So, we do have an extra slot, fortunately. I tried just clicking it to slot in, as opposed to just clicking on one here to slot it in. So, yeah, we got our ancillary power, and then it just needed one more level to be able to get the full set of armor on. And we had just enough scrap to pull that off. Well, I say just enough. I only needed, like, 70 more. Well, 75. So I could have probably killed just like any enemy and got there, but it didn't have much scrap on me, so it wasn't like a massive investment. And then had another flick through the weapons for upgrades. I noticed that I was starting to get Mark II parts, and whilst I now had the materials to upgrade some of them, I didn't have the funds. So something to keep in mind going forward. Getting our full vulture set on, getting our achievement for that, plus our set bonus. Rather than going back down that way, there was still this route up the road that I remembered I hadn't actually finished going up. And since these guys are all level 1s to the level 2s that we're fighting down there, I figured might as well see what's up here first. Since I think this was the furthest I ever got before I went back and ended up encountering going through the Axeman and getting ambushed by this guy. And yeah, I think I was commenting at this point exactly about how oh, that's how it happened, is he was there ready to ambush me as I came through, didn't notice him, didn't press forward, and went back, and he just followed me all the way. Get a nice little bit of desynced execution there. Always fun, using your psychic powers to tear someone in half.
Come on, take that stuff and run. We're scared of time.
And if you remember from part 1, here's the very British guy they could hear from the other side of the door. Which was a nice little detail. Having a little bit of a fight with these two. Take one out nice and quickly. And then notice, oh, hang on a second, there's a third guy. Fortunately, he didn't get too involved during the first two. I managed to take the first one out before he started getting there. Very nice dodge timed there. Didn't actually take any of the damage from that. And with both of them out of the way, these guys are no match for my new armor. And just get absolutely shredded. Although, one thing I was commenting on at this point is now that I'm not using energy for executions, my health, my energy levels are really stacking up. So I think I really need to get the materials to upgrade the health soon-ish, so I can get more charges, or find something else that uses battery charges, since look at all of this going to waste. So continue pushing up towards Port Nixon, and we find another bunch of guards with a barrier in the way. So another area that we can technically access, but it requires us to fight through some guards to achieve. So that's that route closed off for now. Especially since these ones are level 3 to the level 2s, so definitely a clue that this is not the way to go. I did, not at this point, but it's a minor enough thing, I did figure out eventually what that level related to, and it's to their gear level, which, so like Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3 armor, so that level is where they stood on that front. So yeah, read the keycard, found that, oh yeah, it's got access to the police station, oh here's the police station, there's the terminal, how did I miss that? So went to have a little check inside and see if this took me to a different area of the police station. I hadn't put 2 and 2 together on the voices I heard by this door and those ones outside at this point, so was expecting potentially another area, but no, it's more of a shortcut, a way back in to the facility itself. So still not got the EMP, so I've not got any real way to open up any extra paths in here. So I don't think it takes me too long before I just head back and go back outside. But yeah, so gear level attached to the upgrade level of their gear. So at present, my gear is all mostly Mark 1. And so the enemies that are like level 2 are showing up as yellow now because I'm in mostly Mark 1. So they're able to be taken down, but are a bit tougher, whereas Mark 3 are considered much more dangerous and to be avoided. Whilst these chumps are equal to my level, so are showing up in just a regular grey. And I'm sure once I've got my stuff upgraded to Mark 2, they'll probably be like green or something. As always, going into a different zone and then coming back does indeed respawn all of the enemies. And I will admit, coming out that way is a lot harder than going in. Since at least when you come in, you've got the sides there, so the Molotov guy doesn't immediately see you. You have a lot more space to maneuver and dodge around, and if you're not fast, you can get stuck in that corridor and just get swarmed by them. So not too pleasant. On the plus side, it gave me something to use my energy on. Yeah, it took me a little bit too long to start popping those heals there. It's like, oh yeah, no, I can take this guy down without taking damage. It's like, but I don't have any benefit from that and not healing, because I'm going to have to heal afterwards anyway. I am very smart sometimes. So, get our lovely backstab on another Molotov guy. And at this point, I see that little path down there and wonder if I can get to it somehow. So, start having a little look, see if there's a route, because it definitely looks traversable. And whilst the Surge 1 annoyingly got me into a mindset of don't try to explore, don't drop down anywhere that looks explorable, because it will probably insta-kill you, and that will be the end of it. Despite the fact there were then multiple points where you were meant to drop down, and it wasn't the end of it. Yeah, the level design has been much more noticeably Metroidvania-esque, I'd say. I mean, it's Souls-like Metroidvanias, very, very similar. It's like they are adjacent genres, I'd say, is a good way of putting it. But just having that interconnected world with multiple paths that you can potentially go down that you're expected to go through at later stages. But yeah, I'm having a look to see if there's any other way to go from here, and I'm contemplating if I can make that jump, but yeah, I don't think I could. And then I finally realized that, oh no, hang on, this isn't a shortcut that's linking back around to connect the world. This is literally the way back up because I dropped down a hole to get here. Just a couple more bozos to get through before we are back in the level 2 zone. So, it's got, as I mentioned, no real issue with heals at the moment. I've got a lot of energy stored up, and I'm still at max charges with heals. So, I can just keep them banked, keep healing up. Got another battery that I just picked up off the ground, just in case, you know, you feared I didn't have enough energy already. Just not even bother messing around with that guy at this point, just shoot him down where he stands. Uses up a lot of ammo, not necessarily the most ideal, but it works. Alright. Back to the shield pulverizers, who I still don't quite have the timing on. Able to get through their shields easily enough. And it certainly doesn't stop me from trying to get the parries. I really wanted them. Really wanted to get that timing down and just kept failing. Oh god, I didn't realise just how pained she looked when she died in the other instances. Oh god, I feel a little bad about that. Right, decided to try the other path this time, since noting that there were a lot more enemies than I expected around that corner. Maybe this was a better route, and well, we're facing level 1s, which, you know, good start. That flashing from that staff very much helped me avoid getting hit by a surprise third enemy, but it also is just the sort of weapon I like. An electro staff, sign me up. I'm a big fan of pole arms, big fan of electricity. You've just stuck both of them together. Back to my whole, I'm going to have a problem with this game with picking which weapon I want to use. They also don't seem all that bothered. Like, I think I got a little bit too close when they got defensive about that hall, but they weren't too fussed about actually fighting, and they retreat really quickly. So, yeah, they do just seem happy being kept to their own devices. But unfortunately, I want that stick. Give me gimme. Got a little disappointed picking up those and not getting the stick. I think... Oh, that does remind me I need to go back for this weapon. So yeah, both of these weapons were ones in the Surge one from Creo. One of which was the weapon that I used for the early game before I got my Electro Axe. And so a feature that both of these games have that I slightly forgot about is if you're in combat when you pick up loot, it doesn't show you the loot pop-up until after combat ends. So I thought, oh, I've not got the negotiator, woe is me. But no, I was just still technically engaged in combat with the other guy, so it didn't it didn't flash up to distract me from the fight, which I appreciate that. It's a little awkward when you're trying to get loot and going, oh, did I get it or not? But it makes sense from a gameplay perspective, so I'm just having a little bit of a comparison between it and my spear that I've been using. Technically, the staff does more damage. It's just split into, like, you see the electricity damage as the bottom stat is 19, so it's 99 damage overall to the 93. I was expecting a similar moveset, but no, it's radically different. And it's a really cool moveset. And as I'm testing things out, I just get shot at with a gun from a guy around a corner, who leads me around a corner to another guy with a gun in a corner. However, unfortunately, it's not just a guy with a gun in a corner, because we've also got split hammer. I think it was a split hammer. Yeah, split hammer McGee. So now, no pressure. Just got to deal with this guy again, who at least I'm better equipped for, both in weapons and armor, to fight. Plus two guys with guns. And it's around this point that I remember I've got a Molotov grenade launcher that I've yet to use. And I start cackling maniacally over just how much damage an explosion it does, just to get completely clobbered to death by Split Hammer McGee. I also then, at that point, because I didn't get Molotovs back, had to just try and figure out how to get Molotovs from the Molotov guys, since I got them originally from them. And yeah, the simple answer is, if they have the body armor on, breaking their body gets it. I'm assuming because they've got the grenades, or the Molotovs, attached to their chest. At least that's what I'm thinking. So, not really got the supplies to just bombard them again. I did do a little bit of running past to recover things, and fortunately it worked out in my favour. So the two that I mentioned before, just not seeming that interested, were indeed not interested and happy to just sit in their corner. These guys aren't too strong now that I've got armour, so they're easy enough to take down. And I think I got one of the gun guys out of the way, and then this shield person came along, who honestly wasn't expecting. It's a little bit of an unwelcome surprise. However, this staff does such a better job at keeping them stunned because of the electric build-up, which does just inflict stun. So being able to get in my swift flurry of billows, a few follow-up hits to get a little bit of a stun, and then eventually just getting a proper stun effect in to get another flurry in. It's great. I love this weapon. This was one of the weapons that one of the friends I know who played this game said they played through with. I was expecting the guy with a gun on that corner, and was surprised when he was not there and went, oh, must be the other side, and just had to back out. But yeah, being very, very cautious. I don't want to have a repeat of last time, so guns it is. because Axgar on his own at this stage, not a problem. And just look at the damage that the actual drone does. If I just target an unarmored part and go ham on it. Oh, it's such a good weapon. I love it. Yeah, it's great. Slight animation issues there, not quite lining up as they should have done. Lots of items dropped around that I've just not picked up properly. And we get a chest. And in this, we get the cellular regenerator, which I don't think I actually checked. But I'm pretty sure it's it's a solid health item that just regenerates health over time. It was in the first game as well. So it's another healing item that I could attach and have more healing potential that doesn't rely on energy. But as I said originally, I'm having energy surpluses at the moment. I don't think I have to worry about needing an extra heal quite yet. This staff, I just had so much fun with the staff. And I had so much fun with the split hammer, and I had so much fun with the spear. And, oh, the weapons, they're just all fun. It's nice playing games like this and going, I actually like these weapons. They're unique, they have combo moves that are different from one another. They all feel different. And it doesn't just feel like I'm choosing, oh, how fast do you want to attack versus how much damage do you want to deal per hit. Here is where I realise that, so that item means that when you've got, when it increases the healing from your drone, from your tech scrap when you're nearby it.
Hey Liz, it's Warren. Oh my god.
I got really excited to hear that Warren survived. So excited, in fact.
Creo's been on lockdown for weeks.
I walked straight off an edge.
Listen, that's not the truth. Not the whole truth.
You've got a little stuff.
There's something going down in this town. Something big. The government is lying to all of us. I need a place to lay low. Not for long, okay? Only tonight. I know we've been through a lot, but...
Listen, I'd love to help you. I really would, but AID has been knocking on every door in the district. My boyfriend would lose his shit if I went against the government. We can't risk our spots in the evacuation. I'm sorry, baby, but there's nothing I can do. Please be safe.
And, yeah. So in the first surge, this would have killed me outright. I'd have just landed on the ground and be like, oh, no, you can't be there. Dead. However, I'm determined to try and not die because I got a lot of tech scrap on me. And I'm pretty sure, because I fell down here, if I died, my tech scrap would also fall down here. So I'm trying everything in my power to get out. I'm trying to jump up against this wall and hoping that it just, like, forces me through. But no luck. And eventually I just go, I might be able to make that. And I could. And I felt like a fucking god. Parkour queen. Leica on the job. Oh, it was such an adrenaline rush. I hate the fact that this recording was corrupted just for this moment alone. Because, oh god, it was an amazing feeling. So yes, as I was mentioning beforehand, unfortunately I'm sorry, I know I'm rambling a little bit on the whole. I feel a lot more compelled to talk constantly whilst doing these compared to in-game where it's a lot more... I've got my focus split between game and commentary, whereas right now I just have to do commentary. And so I do go on a little bit longer and then have to jump back for stuff that I remember happening on screen and discussing it. But yeah, as for starters, I haven't rested at a med bay since leaving the new area, so it spawns me by the door, which, oops, I'm now stuck fighting these guys in this damn corridor. And yeah, second of all, this does allow me to test out because if you've been watching, you'll have noticed that my health has gone up on occasion when near the tech scrap pickup, because it does just now have a regen attached to it. So when you're near it, it will regen your health slowly over time, which is a nice risk-reward bonus since... oh yeah, I just kept that clip in and did a bit of an edit, specifically because fighting in that corridor, not fun. But the rest is just... yeah, so with that heal over time being a thing now, it's a nice risk-reward, as you'll presumably die most of the time to an enemy. And that means if you're struggling with the enemy, fighting near your tech scrap gives you a heal over time that will make it easier for you to beat the enemy that took you down last time. But in turn, it means that to get that bonus, you're risking losing your scrap again to the enemy that killed you last time. So an enemy that's already been known to be able to beat you is now the guardian of your tech scrap, which will keep you alive if you don't pick it up. So it's a nice game of how long do you want to risk it for, and yeah, here we go, me actually looking at the health bar for the first time and going, oh yeah, it is in fact regenerating as I'm near it. And yeah, at that point I go, yeah, screw it, I almost died, I'm going to just pick it up and not risk it. Turns out it wasn't necessary, but yeah, it's the nerves of losing 6k scrap when I really wouldn't have had to. That would have torn me to parts, to shreds. So yeah, we just got an energy reduction thing, and here I'm just questioning because there's two items. So I've got one which says that batteries remain for longer, and one that says energy drain is decreased, and I was trying to figure out what the difference between them is, and the answer, in short, is battery charges drain slowly over time all at once, whilst energy that's not filled a battery yet does just drain back down. So there is a reason for one over the other. It's just a little bit of a weird distinction to have both of them. And so, we made it to the seaside court. Get a little bit of dialogue between these guys.
Then what is it about? There's no rules anymore, no unity. The hunters have splintered. It's anarchy.
Aye. And that's why we'll win. We can outlast them all. We go in there, kick some ass and get the beast. And you know why? Because we don't get blinded by feelings. We're winners, not whiners.
And yeah, despite them saying all of that thing about being winners, not whiners, I have a feeling that a lot of their mission is going to depend on my success. Not like that's just a thing that happens in games or anything. But yeah, I am still very much annoyed that subtitles do not cover the small background conversations and only the main stuff. But yeah, I got a lot of scrap, got a few levels in. Honestly, I should have probably gone one more, because I think one more gets me another slot for implants, and I got a fair few implants. But at the same time, I wanted to upgrade the pieces I could, keep my gear in top-notch shape, and yeah, I need leg parts. I've been aiming at arms and heads too much. Got a fair few bodies, but legs I've been lacking in. So,
looking for something to buy? I'd love to make you an offer, but my hands are tied.
There is a lot of exploration going on
After
at this
that
point.
nasty defrag disease broke out, I helped as much as I could. So whatever the children of the Spark smuggled into the city for a fraction of the price. After a while, I was drowning in debt, so I borrowed a bit of money from a nice young gentleman. I should have known better. He turned out to be nothing but a loan shark, and I was easy prey. But I'm no dotty old lady, see? I know what's going on. His threats get more brazen every day. Soon he'll come after my grandkids.
And me being
sure?
just such a nice,
I don't have
sorry,
anything to give you for your trouble, not
bad to the
even a
bone,
penny.
just
If
gonna
you
help
really think you
everyone
can do
else.
it, look for a guy
But that
called
one guy.
Fury and tell him Miss Fox sent you. He's doing most of his business in Port Nixon these days. I owe him 2,000 tech scrap.
Which honestly
If
isn't
you
that much
can
tech
make
scrap.
that villain
Like, I
cancel
barely-
my debt, I could buy new
Like,
wares
I had
and stock
8K
my shelves
coming in
again.
here from just
I
going
should
through
warn you, though,
the city.
Finn is a shrewd businessman. He'll try to con you out of everything you own. Time was that little cheat would have already been thrown in jail. But nowadays, it's all about image. Below the surface, he's a con man through and through. Finn knows how to play the victim card. He'll take you to the cleaners if you give him any kind of edge.
And I think it's safe to say not to take him at his word at face value as a result of that.
Search and rescue, eh? Could have used your type around these parts when this whole mess kicked off.
And I assume that this
Glad to
dialogue
see there are still people of integrity around.
is different
Here,
for
take
each of
this.
your
You
starting
deserve
jobs.
it.
And maybe even this gear, because this gear here is listed as AID. I mean, maybe not, but it is support gear per se for search and rescue, even if it's the company that replaced me. But yeah, some useful items in the shop. Figured I'd pick up that as it seems like it would be pretty useful, and then going, hang on a second, I can have a backwards cap, sunglasses, and there's a full set bonus for this this stuff. So I'm gonna have to go back and buy that at some point. It seems hilarious, I'm gonna be honest. But I had enough to get one of those pieces, so I got that. And oh yeah, dynamic redirect was whenever you take damage, you gain energy. So seems pretty good. Not that I currently need energy, but sometimes when you're just like that tiny sliver below getting a battery to be able to heal after getting hit by an enemy and being put into low health, it could push me over at sometimes. But yeah, for the most part, this part's more or less wrapping up at this point. There's still a decent chunk of the video left, but it's me exploring around the floors. I didn't want to progress further as I knew I was going to be wrapping up, but I wanted to see what the vendors were and any dialogue. And I'm getting sniffed at by a fucking vending machine.
I'm Mr. Scrappy, your all-in-one rumor monger, information resource, and audiophile vendor. I'll scan every audio recording you have and reward you accordingly. So,
And I was
what do you
very
say?
happy to hear that.
Fill me in on the latest gossip, and I'll give you something even better in return.
Like, I'll take rewards in exchange for
I'm not
audio logs that I
surprised
already
you
collect.
agreed. After all, I've studied your profile. All you need to do is bring me your audio recordings.
I am
every
slightly
once in a
concerned that they
while
have
for
a profile
review.
on me, though, given...
Since I'm in
well,
a generous mood,
I mean, I know they're a
I'll
rumour
compensate you with a
mill,
couple
but
of exclusive lost
I've been in
recordings.
prison in a
Here,
coma
the first
for 2
one's
months.
on the house. Welcome back, unknown
And then
stranger.
immediately says I'm an unknown stranger,
So,
despite the
how
fact that they've
about
read my
sharing
profile.
some information? You have collected less than 10 audio files. Come back later. You never know what rewards I'll have in store.
I get berated for not having enough, so I ask why they're helping
Nothing
me.
in this world is free. By accepting my help, you've already agreed to my terms of service.
Which is always a
I'll
bad
give you
sign.
all the information I have and sell everything I know about you to the highest bidder.
And now,
It's a fair
that's a
deal.
really bad idea.
Agreed?
Getting screwed over by a fucking vending machine. It's
One
just
second,
scammed me out of my
I'll
personal
check my
data and
database. Have you
selling
heard
more
about
of it
the
to
Great
the
Wall
highest
of
bidders.
Jericho? The governor had it erected to keep defrag at bay. At least that's the official statement.
Yeah.
Most
Just in
of my
case
clients
the
believe they've
parallels
isolated
between
this place to
Jericho of the
sweep us
Bible
under
and
the
Jericho
rug.
City weren't obvious enough,
Literally
call it the
and
Great Wall.
figuratively. Whatever that means, check back in soon. I'll keep you in the loop. I will only say this once. The password is Keymaker. You'll know when to use it.
I am really hoping that when it comes up to the point where I need to use it, I either A, remember this, or B, because I've had this conversation, the game will remember this and allow me to make it. I eventually noticed this tag and wanted to give it an upvote for at least giving a hint of, yeah, it's the vending machine you should talk to. Even though I think it's positioned slightly awkwardly under all of that trash, makes it a little bit hard to see.
Oh, hail, Lord Eli.
Yeah, like these doors here, both this one to Lord Eli, who we've been told to meet, and the one below it about joining up with the Cult of the Spark.
It's wicked
Can't remember what they
drone
call
implants.
themselves.
Cool by me, either way, but you gotta get on with it. I have so much stuff on my mind, it feels like my brain is gonna explode.
Yeah, I can relate, Rex.
You touch it, you buy it. We clear?
And yeah, and here we go. We've got access to Molotov top cocktails in the shop alongside grenades. So I am very much happy that it means I don't have to actively farm it if I've got tech scrap going spare. I'm probably going to avoid buying them where I can, but having the option is nice. And then we also get the drone proximity booster, which confused me a bit because I thought I'd already picked it up, but I'd actually just read the description on the armor set from the other vendor. So, yeah, that was a little bit of confusion there. Then obviously there's an item here in the back and another banner someone just put down. So, get that, pick this up.
What the? That's mine. Give it back, like right now.
And
Seriously.
I really appreciate these
Not
sorts of
cool.
dialogues. Just
That's a memento from my ex. I mean, what would you say if I just marched into your workplace and stole everything?
criticizing
that's not
the
nailed down?
average
This was a
gamer
token
mindset.
about love, you know? It's all I have left now. I'm a broken shell of a man.
No way, you're obsessed. Which, honestly, bit of an extreme option. I'd want to just say, okay, here you go. But
See if I care. I mean, didn't want it back anyway. Didn't need it.
I think he might be a little bit high.
That's that age-old story, really. Boy meets girl, girl dumps boy, everything goes to hell. Said she needed to find herself. Now nobody can find her at all. I heard a little rumor she's hooked up with that rich bastard, little Johnny, in Port Nixon. I mean, I'd go there right now to check it out, but I've got too many enemies in
And
that
just in
part of
case it
town.
wasn't clear that Port Nixon
Maybe
is where we're
you
likely going to
could,
be heading
I don't
next.
know,
Here's
sneak
2
around a
side
bit?
quests pointing us in that direction.
Awesome! I was hoping I could coax you into it. Oh, crap. I said that out loud, didn't I? I just really need some help. I'm freaking losing it here.
Right. Do the old-fashioned
like the old harbor.
get me some more
That's where
information about the
shady
place.
punk-ass little Johnny sells his so-called drugs. I just can't stand that gassy sleazebag. I mean, have you heard those horror stories about the shit he gets up to in Terminal Z? Ew. Dude's like seriously depraved.
And, yeah.
Alright, peace out.
Have a look at some signs here. We've got a locked tag, which makes me think that maybe this room opens up later, but I also have my doubts. I struggled a little bit to read the sign and what it was saying. It's protein. We don't need no exo. And fair enough, if that's how you want to roll. I got really concerned for these people when I saw this. I thought, oh no, God, are they dead? But they are still breathing. There are signs of motion. And yeah, here we go. We got the join the spark sign and this door and a guard. And that is a very next point. Transition. So I just went at that point. This is a good place to wrap up. We've made some good progress. We got through the first boss. We got through this first area. We have an idea of where the plot is going. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. It did a lot better than the Surge 1 did. And whilst the Surge 1 did also start out stronger and get weaker as time went on, this has been a much more solid start than that was. It's built upon the systems of the previous game in a way that makes them feel more complete. Like, for example, the directional blocking. I did it, I think, once in the tutorial when it was first brought up, never again in the first game. And I forgot about it until, I think, right at the end when I got an item that gave me a buff after directional dodging or something. So, yeah, it wasn't exactly the most used feature, and wasn't even really a necessary feature. Which maybe could be argued as the same case here, you can dodge through most of the stuff, but it felt a lot more satisfying in this one at least. And it may change a little bit once I get more plugins and put in stuff that don't give me the directional markers and have to do it manually and figure out the timing that way, but it does at least, for the time being, also give me an indicator of, oh, the enemy's starting up an attack. So, I'm all in all, I've been happy with this, and I was contemplating whether or not I'd actually continue this past this point when I started it. I did want to get a feel for it before I committed fully to a playthrough, but honestly, at this point, I'm feeling fine with continuing. It's washed a lot of the bad taste of the Surge one from my mouth. So, with all that said, thanks for joining me with this Undead commentary. We should hopefully be back to regular commentary from this point forward, as I will be double-checking next time that it's not trying to use the PS5 controller mic and therefore not working at all, while still showing me as if the bar is working. So yeah, take care everyone, and I'll see you all next time.